Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilbourn, here to announce we have some big wrestler interviews coming your way. Recently, I've had the chance to chat to the likes of DDP, Al Snow, Vicky Guerrero, Ken Anderson, formerly known as Mr. Kennedy. And soon-to-be WWE Hall of Famer, Jeff Jarrett. We're going to be releasing some of the best bits of those interviews over the coming weeks, and we've got plenty more to come in the future too. So make sure you let us know in the comments section below who you'd like to see interviewed next, and follow us on Twitter to be able to send questions. For now though, here's an exclusive clip of my interview with WWE legend and my new best friend, Rey Mysterio. Enjoy. I can't have you here, as I mentioned all your other championship accomplishments, but the man who won the Royal Rumble in such infamous fashion, I think it was 62 minutes, is that?
Incredible. Yeah.
I want to talk about how on earth you lasted that long in that match and what it was like being involved in it. But first of all, when they come to you and explain to you that's what's going to happen, what's your reaction?
Oh, like a little kid at a candy shop getting told to pick whatever you want. You know, it was an amazing moment. Of course, you really don't grasp that moment until you're there. You've lived it and it's done, and it's really happening. You're getting your hand raised. You know, you went through the time that you just mentioned, and it's all said and done. That's when you really have time to soak it in and to enjoy it. And then, of course, just the memories that the fans give you when they mention it to you. Ray, you know, the Rumble, I can't. That was awesome. You lasted your record. Nobody's been able to break it. It just brings back that one moment where I get my hand raised, and it happened. It was true.
I, for one, distinctly remember Orton coming out and thinking he's lasted all this way, and then he's lifting you up, obviously. And
here we go.
Was there any? Here's a question: was there any nerves? Because obviously accidents happen all the time, and you're presumably exhausted after 62 minutes. And it's not as simple as you reversing him, throwing you out. You have to cling on.
Certainly.
Was there any nerves about that perhaps going a little bit wrong? Because it's happened in the past with Royal Rumbles, of course.
I would lie to you if I told you that I was in complete control and I felt like nothing was going to happen. But yeah, you get that. Me personally, I get that butterfly sensation in my stomach where, God, this has to come out right the way it needs to happen. You know, no mess ups here. You only get one shot. You gotta nail it. And then of course it does happen, and then you're like, wow, okay, that's it. Now you move on to the next one. You know, you gotta make sure that one comes out right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have that bit of anxiety to make sure it's done properly. That's just being a perfectionist, I guess.
Exactly. It's a tough question to answer now. What was more enjoyable, winning the 2006 Royal Rumble or winning the World Heavyweight Championship at the WrestleMania?
God, I would have to say one thing leads to the next. So without a doubt, winning the world title. I have two of the most amazing athletes in that ring. You know, Kurt Angle and Randy Orton, and I'll tell you, I'll tip my hat to both of those men. Kurt Angle, because he was the first guy to have shared a feud with. My first SummerSlam was with Kurt Angle. And then, of course, later on down the road, I get to work with Randy Orton, and I realize how good and talented he is, and it just makes me respect him even more, for putting on one hell of a match that night. But yeah, like, one thing leads to the next, so being world champion that night was probably, I don't think that anything can top that.
And it was such a fantastic culmination of everything, obviously, with Chavo and Vicky coming out on the stage with you, and that must have been so emotional for you as well.
Very emotional. There was definitely a presence, of Eddie looking over me and saying, yeah, we did it, man, we did it. So, and then from there on, being able to contain that emotion and taking that with you for whatever the run, whatever the time that I had running with the title, it was just very emotional because the fans, in a way, were looking at Eddie through me.
And you had this, obviously, this underdog moniker that has travelled with you, and you feuded with the likes of JBL and King Booker. That must have been such an enjoyable run to have, and holding the title and representing the company at the end of the day.
Yes, very much. I don't think there's a performer or a superstar within that company that I can say, I didn't like working with them. I think everybody that I had a chance to have a feud with, I enjoyed very much, or that I teamed up with and eventually ended up feuding with them, I enjoyed very, very much.
Another great feud you had that I distinctly remember was with CM Punk, the Straight Edge Society angle.
Yes.
How was that for you to work with him and to work with such an exciting concept?
Incredible. I actually had a chance to work with CM Punk right before it was a triangle match. It was CM Punk, Eddie Guerrero, and myself. Eddie had just gotten released from WWE and was on his way back. So I, at the time, didn't know if I was going to get signed with WWE or not. So we had a great match, all three of us. Eddie then eventually makes it back to WWE, then myself. Then a couple years later, here comes CM Punk. So I had already worked with him in the past, but at the level that he was in WWE was completely different. So I enjoyed very much working against CM Punk. What was the name of the group again?
The Straight Edge Society.
Straight Edge Society,
yes.
Yeah. To be able to be manipulative like Punk was, incredible. We were just talking about, because my daughter's birthday was August 20th, so we were reminiscing on the Happy Birthday song.
So creepy.
Incredible, and I just don't get tired of watching that video of him seeing her and picking on Angie, then picking on Dominic, and of course slapping me a couple times.
Yeah. Your wife must have been like, I'm next for some sort of...
She was freaked out, man. She was scared.
Now, of course, you won the World Heavyweight Championship. You also won the WWE Championship for a brief time.
Yes.
Was that for you just sort of a part of the business in terms of dropping it fairly instantly to Cena? Was that just sort of, how things work?
I've never been a controversial person. I don't like, if they want something to be done, I'll be the first to raise my hand. So I guess I'm just that easy to work with. They needed something to be done that night, and it happened. At least I can have that check mark that was accomplished, whether it was for a minute or 2 hours. I became world champion.
Exactly. It was well deserved.
Thank you.
A 13-year tenure you had all in total in the WWE. Wow. It's an incredible feat to do something like that, to stay relevant in a company like that, which is such a high turnover as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the knee injuries kept on coming by as the years went by, but for some reason, it feels like time flies while you're there. You're wrestling throughout the whole year. There's pretty much no break, and my only real breaks was when I was injured, pretty much.
Now, obviously, you left there and you got the chance to do a lot of other things, AAA, Lucha Underground. Was that exciting for you to explore some different avenues, perhaps? And also, I know you mentioned before, it gives you this freedom to spend more time with your family, which is so important to you.
Right. It was. I definitely had in mind that eventually I wanted to go back to Mexico and just pay a little visit to the fans that saw me grow, that have been supporting me for a long time. They had a chance to see me when I would come down with WWE, but it wasn't the same, I just wanted to revisit the places that I was in at the beginning of my career, and AAA was definitely a big step for Rey Mysterio. So I went back and did a couple. Actually, it was a year, a total of 30 dates. So and I enjoyed that very much. But that was it. I wanted to do it one time, and then I was done. Man, I've been enjoying my independence right now.
And on top of that, I've heard rumours, and I wasn't sure if this is something you plan on doing in the future, is opening perhaps your own wrestling school and training more people. Obviously you mentioned with Dominic.
Right.
Would you have an eye to maybe doing that on a wider scale for others? Because I know there's so many people who would love to learn.
I've actually had a lot of people comment, Ray, when are you going to open up your school? And then it really hit when I started training my son in February. So it's definitely something that I do want to look into. And eventually, if the time is right and I know it's going to be hard to detach myself from this business completely the day that I decide to retire. So probably that would be the best way to still keep in touch within this business.
Now, I can't let you go without getting your thoughts on what's going on in the WWE at the moment with 205 Live and Neville, who's having a great run, obviously, as the Cruiserweight champion. Have you been keeping up with that as much?
It's very hard, again, when you wrestle so much outside, and not that I have the same amount of work right now that I did back in WWE. I kind of pick and choose. I'm my own boss, so I know when I want to wrestle, when I don't. But I do try to stay on point right now, just with Raw, and it's kind of like our education class with my son and I. We sit down and we watch and we conversate about what to do, what not to do, what the mistakes are, you know, and so it's a good educational moment for both of us. We still have to go back and revisit, or actually start watching 205 and NXT.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you'll be excited that they're dedicating such a focus to obviously a different style of wrestling, or smaller wrestlers.
Well, and I think the most important thing about watching both of those shows is the fact that these are up and coming kids that are wanting to make it to eventually Raw or SmackDown. So that's eventually where my son's going to be. So it's good to watch.
Brock and Braun are a terrifying reminder of what's to come. Finally, what is the future for Rey Mysterio? There's obviously been talk of GFW, of WWE. Obviously, you can't exactly say what your decision is going to be, but what are your plans? What are you still hoping to do?
What I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to keep enjoying my independence. I love just being my own boss, being able to work with whoever I want to work. I think eventually, if the time was right and both parties accepted, if I would go back, I would only go back to WWE, you know, to finish up my career. But at the time, like I said, I'm very, very comfortable. I'm enjoying very much my family. I enjoy being around them, and most importantly, I enjoy being around my son and teaching him the craft of lucha libre. So that's pretty much my next project.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. It might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.